This is about delivering great exclusive games for you that ship on platforms where Game Pass exists.
Hello and welcome out to this week's episode of Gamers Council. And we have got one hell of a show with some legends. I mean, legends in the community. And I am so blessed to be here tonight with Dirt Griggity. What's up, Dirt? How you doing, buddy?
What's up, my brother? How you doing? Well, Dave, how you feeling, man?
I'm feeling pretty good, man. I'm feeling pretty good. And then, of course, Gaming Forte.
Yo,
thank you, sir.
No, what's up, man? You had my family on a couple weeks ago, and I was what's going on here, man? And then I go look at my DMs, and I'm like, shoot. This is what happens when you take a sabbatical from Twitter. Don't look at it for a while. But I'm glad to be here, and I couldn't be here with no other. Listen, man, you got the Midwest represented real well today.
Yeah.
That man literally lives an hour, probably not even an hour away from me.
I say about an hour.
About an hour away.
About an hour.
You know.
I was gonna say I found out that he actually has been to your store. That's fantastic.
Yeah. 2 days in a row. Yeah.
I was the reason that man got a hoof in his back pocket.
Yeah, that's PS5. Sit up under my Dusty. Sit over here, Dusty, right now.
Is it nothing to play? We'll get into that here in a little bit too. Oh, maybe you could trade it in. We'll talk about that as well because GameStop has some really good deals going on.
Yeah, man, you got the right man on the show today.
We do. I'd also like a big thank you to Silent Cypher for jumping in and being as my guest host this week. And sir, thank you so much. Thank you for being here, man.
Dave, thank you so much for having me. It's good to be hanging out with you guys. Great to podcast with Dirt and Forte. I feel like I've been maybe on 1 or 2 shows with you guys in the past, but I think it's been a long time. So look forward to chopping it up with you. It should be a good day.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And just we got over 30 people in the chat right now. Thank you all so much for being here. If you got questions or things you want us to talk about, please don't hesitate to just throw them in there, and we will definitely do our best to get to them. We got a big list of topics that we're going to try and jump around tonight on, but we're going to here to have fun and talk about gaming. That's the big thing. But I also did want to say again that RHETRI should be back next week. He needed another week off from the show, and we totally understand. And we do have great condolences go out to him and his family. Much love and respect for everything he's going through. And RHETRI, you're in our hearts, buddy. And I know that you're going to be back gaming full time soon enough. All right, so guys, holy Nikes. What a crazy week so far. I mean, we're not even talking ABK. We're not even going to bring that up. Why did I do that? Damn it. But no, there's no really need to, because we know that is something that is going to happen eventually.
Yeah.
So I guess the one of the things I kind of wanted to start on, click over here to my notes, was that I guess I've heard, and I want to pull this up on the screen so this could be a little. Is it because we do have a GameStop manager on the panel right now? I'm a former GameStop manager, but this man knows his stuff. And this is no slander, but this is basically a curiosity question, because it's going around that there is actually some GameStop. A lot of trade-ins going on. Most traded console to GameStop right now in the entire U.S. Most traded in is the PlayStation 5. And a lot of people are, because it's got a good trade value right now, and people are trading up. So is any of this true, or is this just normal fodder for GameStop right now?
Okay. Well, they are not lying that the PlayStation 5 does have a really good trade price on it right now.
Mm-hmm.
They also need to know that the Xbox Series X does have the same trade price on it too. So
okay,
they're not different. They're both the same.
Gotcha.
I will tell you, and only from my little corner of the universe,
And that's all we need.
I see more PlayStations traded in than anything else. Maybe because it is the most saturated console, and especially in my area. In my area, we PlayStation kind of blessed us in our area with a lot of PlayStations over the course of the last like we really never had a shortage of them in my area. I know some areas that didn't see PlayStation for 6-7 months. We always kind of had them like every month. We would get like a stock of them. So it's kind of not noticeable for us to get a lot of them in trade in, but I do see way more PlayStations than anything. Now what they trade them in for is a myriad of things. I had a couple people that traded them in for Xboxes or getting dropped down to an Xbox Series S or something because, most people don't play the first party games as much as people want to say first party.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the AB, I hate to say it, the news out of that court hearing basically told people like, no, that's not the case. Most people played third party games, and think about it. That's one of the main reasons why PlayStation has that cross-play incentive point inside of their contracts with Fortnite and with Epic and stuff, because they know our people aren't spending money just on the PlayStation ecosystem. They're spending it in games that are like everywhere. And that's why they're fighting for Call of Duty. That's why they were fighting for Call of Duty for so much. So it's not the fact that I think that people are just getting rid of their PlayStations or stuff. I also think that it was kind of like a fear of missing out, and a lot of people just couldn't afford the stuff that they were buying, and they just had to get rid of it. So you kind of see that a little bit too. But I also see the fact that we sell a lot of PlayStations still. And I wish Xbox had a more healthier offering when it came to their Series X, because it seems like they only do bundles for that right now, and we barely see any of the standard system. We see more S's. I mean, it's doubled down on the fact that we got a digital 1 terabyte version coming out on September 1st, the same day as the Starfield early release, which is all cool and everything. But yeah, there is definitely some truth to the fact that PlayStations are very, very plentiful in a used variety if you want to go to a GameStop and get one.
Yeah. And I would say, being a former manager myself, I mean, PlayStation right now is the #1 selling console in America. So there's more of those out there than there is any other console. Well, maybe with
how long ago were you there, Dave?
Well, it's been a while. Almost 11 years now since I was a manager.
No, that's perfect though. Xbox 360 was the lead console in America. The PlayStation ended up passing them in the end, but we know here in the great United States of America, the United States of America, it was almost 1 to 3, maybe close to 2 to 3 in the amount of Xboxes that were sold versus PlayStation. And I was there during that generation, and I remember seeing a bunch of Xbox 360s, way more than we had PS3s, because Xbox was all over the market. You could trip on a used one back then. So this is definitely nothing new. But I think a lot of people are just more probably kind of surprised the fact that people were trying so hard to get one, but they're willing to get off of it so fast too.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, like I said, on this subject, probably not the first one I probably should have jumped on, but I think it's like one of those things where it's like, this is your wheelhouse. I mean, obviously, you know all about gaming and everything, but I mean, the perspective that you have is from a manager that takes this stuff in. So it makes more sense to jump with you on this and ask you, and I appreciate you're letting us know, because it's it's this. So basically, this is kind of misleading,
right?
But yet it is happening. It's just the reasons why it's happening may not be what they imply in that particular tweet. So, as it were,
it seems pretty simple to me. And let me ask you this, Forte.
Yo,
last generation, were you getting more PS4s traded in because you were selling more?
I have more PS4s traded in now than Xboxes because there's just that many more PlayStations out there.
It seems pretty simple to me. I mean, PS5s are selling more. Casuals buy them. That's the system. It looks like the casuals are choosing.
Yep.
And they just, hey man, I'll buy another one later. You trade it in. I mean, it seems pretty simple to me. There's more PS5s out there. That's why they're being traded in more. So I don't think that's a console war point us bots should roll with.
Are you sure? Are you sure? Because I've heard all over the internet the last few days that that's what we got to focus on.
Let's not bots. Bots. Let's not roll down. Let's just let them go.
You want to know why you don't focus on that? Because the one system of all three that we didn't name was Nintendo that has the most systems out there, and I barely have any of those.
See, there you go.
The retention on that system is nuts.
Yeah, people keep those.
What's the trade in on that? Because I have the OLED one.
OLED? OLED still trade in for pretty good, man.
Ooh,
they still trade in for pretty good. I can't wait for them. I'm waiting for them to hurry up and announce the new one so I can do a trade up.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I might.
Well, what Forte just said kind of made me think, okay, maybe we can run with it. Because if guys are trading their PS5s, that must mean they don't want it anymore with the Nintendo Switch. It's sold the most, and nobody's trading in because they're happy with it.
That's a different client. That's a different clientele, sir. You know that. Those people bought those just to have different color Joy-Cons.
That's true.
That Nintendo was like, we ain't gonna give them to you separate.
That's true.
That's funny. That's funny. Cypher, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, there's always that conversation of, if there's smoke, there's fire, but I don't feel like there's any smoke or fire on this one, right? Like it seems convenient, sure, but I feel like there's so many other things going on right now as it is. It's like you've got the PS5 Slim that we know is rumored to be coming, like we've got that listed. You've got the fact that people are maybe buying an Xbox also for Starfield, stuff like that. But there's just it's not like one specific reason. It feels like there's a pool of different reasons right now. Like who knows? And maybe they're trading them in because they want to go get a Switch. Who knows? Like there's so many possibilities as to why they could be trading it in right now. Maybe they're trading in PS5s because there's one game coming out this year. So like you guys were saying, maybe they'll buy another one in a year when there's more games,
Yeah, it's different reasons. Because I had a person literally yesterday, they traded in their old original PS4. And I was like, wow, this thing. Oh, and I said, what? I said, what you getting? He said, I got an Xbox, the new Xbox. I said, which one? The digital one or the X? He was like, I got the X, the black one, the tower. He said he actually called it the Tower of Power.
I like that guy.
I was like, oh no, I said the marketing must have worked on you. I'm sorry, but I'm thinking to myself, but people, different reason for different things. Like he might have been, that person could have been an Xbox fan that literally just switched over because all of his favorite games were either being promoted on PlayStation. And now that he's moved over to another generation, his friends might have flipped back over.
Yeah.
And now you start, and that's the thing, you're starting to see that. That's why Phil Spencer in his kind of funny interview said that they lost the worst generation that they could lose.
Yeah, with the digital content.
When it comes with the digital console.
Yeah.
But I also think that most 70 to 80% of the people don't care about that. Because those are because I tell people all the time, I was like, why are you buying a digital copy of a sports game that literally is an upgrade to the year before? And they say, you know what, that makes sense. I said I can understand if it's something like Halo or Call of Duty or something that you're going to play consistently. You'll go back 2-3 years later and play it. Ain't nobody booting up Madden 18 to go play it again.
Yeah.
And he said, you know what, I might have to think about that. And I actually had converted a couple people from buying digital copies of those games just because of that. But the reason they do it is because they say, yeah, peace of mind. But then they say they just go where their friends are. And I'm like, oh, cool. So some people literally just flip-flop back and forth system to system. Or if they got enough money, they buy both systems, right? Like real gamers do. And then just play with their friends everywhere at that point.
And I always say that the casuals, they're not like guys like me. I have a preference, obviously. They don't care, bro. Like you said, they want to go where their friends are, and that's why certain generations they flip back and forth. Bro, you know how many people I knew personally that loved the Xbox 360 immediately flipped to the PS4 because they didn't like what Xbox was offering, and those people were casuals. So, like you said, it goes back and forth with the casual audience, man. They're not like console loyal or brand loyal like us.
Yep.
So what I mean, I can't speak.
Yeah. I'd like to welcome out over 70 people in the chat right now. Thank you all so much for being here. We have Kay Asante in the chat, and of course, the one and only Paris Lilly. Paris, welcome.
Hey,
sir.
what's up, y'all?
Nice.
Paris up in the chat.
Can you see what he put on there, Forte? Check what he put on.
Coleco Visions.
I love it. I love it. I think he's a little more caught up than that, but
Wow.
I played the Ant Stream, like the Ant Stream game, all of the old games. I was playing Burger Time the other day. I used to play that on ColecoVision back in the days. I love it.
There you go.
Dude, it's so good. It's so good. I know we've talked about it over and over again for like the last few weeks across all the shows, but that Ant Stream is such a good value. It's great. I've had a lot of fun with that one. Even just bringing back to like letting my kids play those games. I know when I first loaded it up, my son looked at me and he's like, "What's with these graphics?
Like, what's up with this? What is this mess you playing, Dad?"
I was like, "Listen, you shut up. This is what we grew up on. Okay? There is nothing wrong with this."
What I tell people is that if it wasn't for those games with those pixels, all that little stuff on there, you wouldn't have the high-end gaming you have today. Right. Because it all had to start somewhere.
Absolutely. 100%.
So, and I also want to welcome out Dusty. Dusty is actually gonna his interview I did with him is gonna drop tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
So definitely want to check that out. He's a cool guy, and we even talk a lot about his dancing career too. So that's it's pretty cool, and we actually show some footage of him when he was with his dance crew, and it's kind of wild too. So I love it that we got in the community. You got all kinds of people just to make up this amazing community. I mean, it's fun. If you love games, that's the ticket in right there.
I love your interviews. Like, I've been friends with Luca and Slow-Mo for over 5 years. Oh no, actually 8 years at this point. And there were things I found out in your interviews from them that I didn't even know. And I was like, what? I said, so we must not be friends. We're not sharing all the information. I didn't know that you went through all this and you did this. I said, Web didn't get you on, and you start spilling all of it.
Spilling the beans.
But now listen, he makes it so comfortable just to have that conversation. Like when I did mine with him, it was just a genuine conversation that just happened to get uploaded to YouTube.
Yeah, man, that's exactly what it is. That's a perfect way to describe interviews with Web Dave. Good job, buddy.
Man. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Welcome out. Doom Cutie has also jumped into chat. Nice. And speaking of Paris Lilly, I do have an interview set up with him next Saturday that will air the following Monday. So not a week from this Monday's interview that'll drop will be with Paris Lilly, if all goes well. So looking really forward to that. It's an interesting gentleman, and I want to know a lot more about him. And like I said, he's a great member of the community that's really done well for himself, and rightly so. So anyway, moving on. Welcome, Doom Cutie. So good to see you in there, and her show is absolutely doing wonderful too. It is on Friday nights at basically 10 p.m. Central Standard Time in the U.S. But it is Confessions of a Gamer Girl, and it is absolutely amazing show. You should definitely check it out. They really get in and get into what it's like to be female and into gaming these days, and it's really cool. I enjoy watching her show greatly. All right, so with that, so let me get this ticker off here. Can you tell I'm a little lost without RHETRI sometimes?
You're doing
miss you, buddy. We miss you. Goodness. All right, so I'll start running this one, and I even have the word ponies in there, so I might trigger somebody.
Oh man,
exactly. But I do want to play this clip of this gentleman that I found very fascinating, and it was on Twitter. Let me put this up here.
Oh man,
everybody's like, "Oh, what's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?" It's actually
X is not a safe place nowadays.
Where's the popcorn?
Exactly. All right, so let's get this. Have y'all seen this one?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay. So yeah, I think
already starting out on the back foot.
No. Here we go.
There is no games on this thing. There's nothing. Nothing. I bought it. I plugged it in. And then I was like, okay, do I play The Last of Us Part 2? Because that's the only game that's on there. The only game. Or like Ratchet and Clank, which is just Returnal, but like soft Returnal. Like, there's nothing. There's no games. The only game I wanted to play when I looked on the store was Medieval, which is a remake, again, a remake, of a 1997 game on the PS1. There is nothing. It's a paperweight. It's a paperweight. There is nothing on this machine. It is a $600 Netflix machine.
Damn, you must live in Canada.
Go read a book, bro. Look, it looks like a book. Go read a book.
$600. Holy crap.
Alrighty, so yeah, I did want to share that because it kind of sets it up for the premise that all right. So you've sold a lot, probably, of the Baldur's Gate, and you probably have reserves, Forte, for Baldur's Gate on PlayStation 5 and Xbox because it's eventually coming there as well.
Right.
So, do PlayStation fanboys, ponybots have a reason to really say that it's an exclusive to the PlayStation 5? When the developer himself says no, it's not, because an exclusive is something you pay for, not a matter of it being because we couldn't get something right. What do you think?
Wow. Well, first, just to react to that video.
Yeah,
everybody knows I have a PlayStation 5.
Same here.
The only reason I bought it was for God of War Ragnarok. It's the only game I actually cared about. I have other games on the system, but I only cared about God of War Ragnarok. I haven't turned my PlayStation on since January. That's the last. Well, I turned it on to watch like movies and stuff because it is hooked up to my OLED and stuff. But I have not played a game on it since Ragnarok. And guess what? I'm not out here making a YouTube video or a Twitter post about it ain't no games on this system because I know what I bought it for.
Right.
But with that being said, it's real interesting because a lot of people are making a lot of money off of Twitter posts now. So
right,
you're gonna see a lot of that going on. So you kind of got to filter that stuff out. But do people have an issue with? Okay, Baldur's Gate is not an exclusive, people. It's literally a game that's going to be everywhere.
Yep.
I know it feels like a W right now. You see this nice little pretty little shiny toy that's on the horizon, and it's got a 97 Metacritic on it, highest rated game of the on the competitors platform. And I'm gonna tell you, how do you know that thing is going to be a 97 Metacritic on your system? Because we are going off a PC here. We're going off a PC here, and who knows it's going to be that. I'm happy for you. I'm happy you're going to have a game that comes on your system. I'm more proud of the fact that Larian came out and said, listen, this game ain't going to be ready. We're not going to just release something on the platform if it's not ready to be put there. I wish Xbox would have did that a couple of times. And that means a lot. But to say that it's literally a PlayStation exclusive, it's not. Unless Larian cancels the Xbox version, it's literally still coming to Xbox. We just don't know when. So it's just console warring to console war. I get it. It's fun. I laughed when I saw it. But then when people start literally going on tirades about it, and then when I could pull up a SKU box in the thing, it says, oh no, it's still coming to Xbox. They didn't take it out the system. So I guess I know more than you because I actually can see that there is still an Xbox version that is going to be available at some point. But, right now, I guess you get your win. But what happens in 2 or 3 months or whenever they finally do release it to Xbox, I guess PlayStation loses another exclusive.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like a really bad idea to get all stoked about it right now when it is coming out on another system still, right? Like that's I agree with you, Forte.
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting crux too, because like their whole excuse and reasoning for this, right, is that it's coming to the PS5, it's not coming to the Xbox for a while, right? Well, technically, and that's because it's being delayed to be worked on and stuff when they have the resources. Well, technically, I guess you could say that it's a PC exclusive right now. Like in that same vein,
facts.
Calling, like if we're going to swing that judgmental pendulum the other way, right now it's technically a PC exclusive, not on PS5. And that's a dumb thing, and some folks will get triggered by that, but it is what it is.
That's a great point. That's a great point. They dropped it on PC. The PS5 version wasn't ready, so it's taking a few more weeks for that version to come out. Then it's taking the Xbox Series X and S, whatever, a couple more months for that version to come out. So, I mean, I'm going to tell you, if this happens, right? Say the PlayStation 5 version gets a 97 also, right? Hypothetically. Say Starfield comes out and gets a 92. I guarantee you PlayStation fanboys say, look, it got a 92. It couldn't be Baldur's Gate. That's not y'all game, man.
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
Not y'all game.
So, yeah, I mean, yeah. But that clip was pretty funny, though. But
yeah.
I think Forte, like ready now, since people can get paid on Twitter, we're going to see more stuff to get more clicks.
Definitely. Incendiary posts from here on.
X, I'm sorry, not Twitter, X.
Yeah, and the other funny thing about it, and this is me, I've been having headaches about this because, I love Tears of the Kingdom. It's still my game of the year until Starfield comes out, and hopefully that can prove it wrong. But everybody out here celebrating Larian Studios, Baldur's Gate 3, Metacritic game with the highest score of the year. And I'm looking at this score and I'm like, okay, 97 with 20 reviews. I go look at Tears of the Kingdom. I'm like 96 with over 154 reviews. I said, can we at least get Larian up into the hundreds?
It's only 20 reviews, bro.
It's only 20 reviews on that game so far. So I'm sitting there like, so 97 on 20 reviews, a 96 on 154. You tell me which one is more accurate. So it's not that because I'm happy that Larian has a banger on their hands, but sometimes these people, just to get a W, they be going way too far. I'm like, yo, listen, Tears of the Kingdom is still the best rated game this year until I see that number get closer to what Tears of the Kingdom had in reviews.
Exactly.
Well, let's be honest about this game too, right? Baldur's Gate 3 is a massive game. It is a computer RPG, a computer ass RPG. So you factor, because I've heard a bunch of people being like, oh yeah, people are going to buy it like crazy on PS5. A large majority of the install base is casuals that either play the game for Call of Duty or Madden, right?
Yep.
We know this. So as soon as they get Baldur's Gate, if they buy Baldur's Gate, you're going to be seeing a lot of trade-ins of physical copies if they do, because I think a lot of people are going to realize they can't hack it in that game.
They ain't gonna buy that
game
shit.
is intense.
They ain't gonna buy that. Man, that's not their types of game.
Yeah, you're right. I guess that was a bad assumption. Like that's the assumption that they'll actually buy it instead of just parading it around because it's exclusive for a minute, right?
Yeah. Has anybody here played it?
No.
I can't start that game.
It's a D&D role-playing game. Like Dungeons and Dragon type. I mean, literally in the game, you roll the dice, and there's a part that people were highlighting. It's like, oh, exciting! There's a squirrel that you run across, and then the squirrel, you roll the dice to see what the squirrel does, and he bites the guy's foot. Then you roll the dice to see what you do, and he kicks him across the screen. It's like, how exciting is that?
That's the type of game. Because I didn't really know much about it, to be honest with you.
I mean, it gets a little deeper later on in the game.
It is, like he's saying, it is very heavily decision based, right? Like, it's very granular in those details. So that's not going to be everyone's jam. And that's fine. I mean, it's the same thing for me, right? It's like Nintendo Switch isn't personally my real jam, but I understand why people like it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Do you mind reading Silent Cypher? Do you mind reading Kay's comment on the screen there? Can you see it?
Nope. Absolutely. Yeah. So he said hardcore CRPG. A lot of folks are going to have a lot of buyer's remorse. I've been playing big for 10 hours so far. It's amazing. I need to stop because Starfield.
And that's the main reason I didn't start.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we got a super chat too, if you don't mind reading that one.
Yeah, so Tom from Toonami, thank you so much for the support. He drops a $2 super chat. He says, Sony customer service going to be swamped on the 6th and 7th.
Yes. Oh, man. What did you try to say? There will be a lot of people
wanting to return it, maybe?
It's going to start. It's going to start on the 3rd because early access for the PlayStation on the 3rd.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people play that game and realize real fast that is just not their jam. And it's fine. But
it's fine. You know,
what do y'all think of the marketing of PlayStation in these games going up against Starfield? You got Spider-Man console and controller coming out the day of the early launch of Starfield.
Yep.
Then you got Baldur's Gate coming out on the 3rd. And then you got the full version coming out on the same day as the full game of, well, not full game, but the regular release of Starfield.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
Starfield a threat.
It's almost like they did it on purpose.
I felt like the moment you saw Spider-Man become their console, like it's literally marketing for a month and a half for anybody that buys anything that's Spider-Man related for their PlayStation. If you buy the plates, you buy the console, you buy the controller, that thing's just going to be looking at you like Spider-Man October 20th for like literally a month and a half. I thought it was really genius that they did that, but it just lets you know like how much of a mind share that they feel like Starfield is going to take away from just gaming in general, that they literally wanted to release their console for the game a whole month before the game comes out.
Yeah.
Just for mind share.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, you know, I know you know, Forte, like some limited consoles drop the same day the game drops.
Yeah, usually that's what happens. But not in this case.
Yeah. Starfield is a threat, man.
And it's, I mean, let's be clear. It is plastic panels and a controller.
Hey, man, that's enough though.
I tell you what was funny, and I wish I had a picture of it to show you now. I don't know if I've still got access to it, but and it looks okay. But there was Pope Art, which I think all of you all know who he is.
Oh yeah,
he released he goes, "This is the way I would have done it," and it was like, holy crap, that was an awesome looking Spider-Man controller that he just whipped up, within minutes, and was like, this is what I would do, and it was like so much better. They should hire him to design their controllers and such, because it was absolutely beautiful looking and really looked more enticing than what they had. Sorry about the dogs in the background, but they're excited that I'm doing a show.
100% though, like what they brought to the table compared to I just love the fact that they had like 6 or 7 samples of better options by people in the community within like just a couple hours of revealing it, right? It's like this is what it looks like with the most minimum effort possible. Like I could have photoshopped that on my phone real quick. Like it's not very impressive. It's not like that Spider-Man 1 PS4, I think it was, right? That they did back in the day. Like that at least was slick. That thing looked good. This it feels like an afterthought, but I think it kind of goes back to what Kay Asante was saying yesterday when you were on the show with him. It feels like just like when they have something bad happen in-house, they try and advertise or market something to like draw the attention away from it. So it feels like with this, like, oh, well, Starfield, but look, Spider-Man, we got Spider-Man over here. It's super exciting. Like it feels like they're trying to draw that attention as much as possible because again, they do think it's a threat. They do think Starfield's going to eat their lunch. And I think it's a valid reason. It's a valid thing to be worried about. That game is going to sell big.
Todd Howard's first new IP in what, forever? It's a long time, man.
Yeah.
Because, like we mentioned this last week on my show, that when Fallout 4 sold 12 million in one day, in 24 hours, like, bro, that's crazy numbers, man. People rock out with Bethesda RPG. So, and this is a new IP. It's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Yeah, I agree with everything you guys have said. It's I don't know. It's kind of,
what's up, Sapo?
Oh man, there's so many great people in the chat right now. Over 130. Thank you all so much for being here. I mean, we got John Wolf, Doom Cutie, oh my gosh, Crispy Bomb jumped in, and just so many more. And thank you all so much. Tell us Ray is there. I can't mention everybody, and I'm sorry about that, but I greatly appreciate y'all being here. Thank you for the time and joining us with this wonderful panel I have with me tonight. So yeah, so I guess to move on, because I don't know. I like I said, I didn't want to pick on ponies or anything like that. But it's and Dirt's like,
I do.
We got all the time in the world. Come on.
I love it.
Trying to get all his. He trying to break their legs back.
Oh goodness. But it is. I mean, well, and that's really wasn't kind of a topic, but I guess we'll transition to this real quick. To get everybody's thoughts on it, but like Starfield is coming out soon, okay, and Starfield is going to be big. We all know that. All of us here know that. And for people on the extreme other side, that are against gaming in general, ponies that are just that it's just them or nothing else, which is sad for them, to be honest with you, because games are great everywhere. I played games on PlayStation as well. Ghost of Tsushima, one of my favorite games.
Great game.
Yeah, but it's like there's so many other games out there, but just to be so close-minded, and butthurt, to be honest, that they're not going to be able to play it on their system because it was taken away from them. Well, no, it's that's not what happened. And of course, Sony's done that to a lot of other games that aren't available on the Xbox. So you reap what you sow sometimes. Just gonna say, but I guess my point was, so Starfield, the advertising juggernaut, it's already kind of started little bits and pieces here. But there are a lot of people that are saying, they're not talking about it. It's game's going to be bad. It's blah blah blah. They absolutely have no idea the onslaught that's going to happen when this game releases. I guarantee you that it is going to be everywhere, either a week before launch or right up at launch. They are going to have a massive marketing campaign everywhere that's going to continue all the way through the holiday season, and also tie around Game Pass, how you can get this amazing game, one of the biggest games, probably going to be game of the year in a lot of people's eyes, in Game Pass. They're going to just absolutely destroy it. I mean, Forte, I'm going to go to you on this first, because you take reservations on the game, and that there's a lot of people that want this game. What are your thoughts about the marketing and marketing in the store? I as a GameStop manager, I know we used to get stuff in that was like, hold for this date, and we couldn't even really talk about it, which I don't want to get in trouble. What you can't talk about, you don't.
No, you're right about stuff like, you'll get like it used to be like with the old Call of Duty and stuff. You get like a package, a big old thing, and it said hold until this date, and you'll be like, okay, I already know what this is without even opening it. But I actually, when I was at work today, I was talking to the people, because like I said, today was my last day seeing them before I leave for a week, and I was talking to them. I was like, oh, you got to put the marketing up because today is a marketing Sunday, and I said, I'll help y'all do it real quick, because they were doing some other stuff. And I almost took a picture of it, but I was like, oh my God, there's Starfield marketing. because I was like complaining. I was like, listen, man, I understand that you know, we had this big Bethesda blowout and we had the direct and everything. That was cool and all. I said, but outside of like seeing it on your system or the recent Samsung commercial they did, you really haven't been talking about it that much in the public eye. And I was like, and I haven't seen marketing in store for it yet. But then I opened up a box today and I was like, oh, it begins. I said, oh, it begins. So yeah, needless to say, marketing is starting to ramp up, and it's kind of like what Todd Howard likes to do. You know, a lot of people were saying, you know, don't worry, Todd Howard doesn't like to do it too early. He likes to do it like within 2 to 3 weeks of the game coming out. And I think it was just more of a frustration thing. You know, that's when you see people like His Move making videos and stuff about it and talking about it. And that's more of a passion thing because they want to see Xbox do better and they want to see the conversation move forward. But, you know, things are on the timeline and you kind of got to remember that. You got to be like, okay, we got these marketing budgets, these marketing dollars spent and allocated for certain events. They want to make sure that those events go off without a hitch and they don't want to ruin the overall, you know, flow of what they have going on. So Starfield is going to be a massive push going forward. I can definitely tell that now by just opening up a box and saying, okay, this is about to happen. But yeah, it's really, really important. And I think that it shouldn't be really worried about after this point. You should start seeing it. You're, like I said, you already saw the commercial with the TV and everything, which is fine. I had no problem with that. Some people did, but it's great to actually see that Starfield's being marketed, and that the game's gonna be pretty much everywhere by the time it gets ready to get its inaugural launch on the 1st of September.
It's probably going to get to the point where, honestly, it's going to be marketed so much potentially that those people that keep throwing a fit about it not being marketed, they're not going to be happy because it will be all over the place. They will hit all the digital distributions. Like if you have YouTube and you don't have ad free, you will probably see a lot of those ads. If you know, like if you have Hulu, you'll probably see ads. It will be everywhere. It will get
even
to
in movie theaters. I bet you in the movie theaters you'll see it.
Is there anything about space coming out soon?
Yeah.
Is there anything?
The Marvels.
Oh yeah, the Marvels. Is the new Dune coming out soon?
No, but that comes later in the year.
I could see them loading them up beforehand though, because like I don't know about your guys' theaters, but we have a bunch of like pre-canned that they'll do right before. Before they even show you the actual trailers for movies.
Oh yeah.
So I wouldn't,
the same everywhere.
Be surprised.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they threw them in there too.
Yeah, the 15 minutes before the 15 minutes. That's
exactly. They show commercials, then they show the trailers.
Yeah, people don't realize, and people still don't realize to this day. It's like, we're here on time. Where the movie is? I said, listen, when the time says what time the movie starts, that's when the promotion starts.
Yep.
That's when they start talking about trailers for other movies. Yep. The 15 minutes before that is the stuff that you're talking about, which are the commercials. The stuff that people pay to say, hey, people that are crazy enough to sit in the movie theater 30 minutes before the movie come out, we want them to see this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Actually, speaking of these different means of advertising it, Alvin with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Alvin. He actually mentions TikTok generation, but he says TikTok generation already forgot the government told them aliens exist 2 weeks ago. No use giving them Starfield commercials months out. Got to be timely.
I agree.
Yeah,
that is pretty funny
Alvin,
when you think about
Thank you, sir.
You got to be timely, Alvin. That's a good
gotta
one,
be
bro.
timely.
That's a good
I
one.
like that. I like
Thank
that.
you
They've
for
got
the
the
Oh
yeah,
man, that's
They've-
funny.
They've got the goldfish memory, right? It's like, oh, shiny object.
Yeah, he's speaking facts right now.
Squirrel.
That's funny,
That's
bro.
actually, he says TikTok, and yeah, that would be another thing that I think we'll see a lot of ads for it because TikTok is huge. Like Instagram, TikTok, we'll see it everywhere for sure.
Hey, you know what, Silent? You said something when Starfield marketing is ramping up. Those people that said it was not marketing will be mad, or like, no, it's so funny because Kids Move sparked a lot of conversation in the community. Nobody was talking about Starfield's marketing or lack of marketing before he mentioned Starfield's marketing. So when he mentioned that, I saw a lot of PlayStation dudes make videos bashing, Starfield not being marketed. So what you just said, we're getting closer to release. They're about to stop marketing. What Forte said, they're about to stop marketing. Forte actually seen some stuff, y'all. So GameStop is about to stop marketing. About to start marketing.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, these guys are going to say nothing. They're going to be silent.
Mhm.
The guy, Starfield is not being marketed.
Yeah. Well, and now watch the narrative change, because like we always see, shout out to Hargeet in the chat, by the way.
Hargeet.
Something that we always see, right, is like the narrative changes.
Always.
So right now, they're not marketing, they're not doing shit. And then here in a couple weeks, they're gonna be like, they're wasting all their money on advertising. Microsoft's in trouble because they're spending money like they're going out of business.
No, they're gonna do.
This is
why they're marketing Forza.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I guarantee it,
bro. Dirt, maybe I shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So I don't usually call out other people, but there's this one guy.
Oh man,
Dreamcast guy. I know I just ruined my chance to ever interview him.
No.
Darn it.
Trust me, your audience who likes that you're not interviewing that yet, believe me.
Yeah, there you go. So he is putting out all these videos and all this thing about, well, first of all, during the live stream, a few minutes in, he got out because it was, this is just garbage, and he got out because he was scared, is what he was. That was so obvious. And then he's been, now he's, we're so worried, and he's so worried for Xbox that it's marketing and everything. He's so upset that marketing isn't going through for Starfield, and people might miss out. But he's really curious about the game, almost like he's begging for a code so that he can try it out ahead of time, because he didn't want to have to spend his money. And then he wants to review it, and he's probably going to review bomb it. I don't know.
He's like, gee, I don't know about this Starfield game. I think it's destined to fail. But if I could see a copy ahead of time, so I could actually prove my theory correct or prove it wrong, like that'd be pretty. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Awesome. Bethesda. But I think the game's going to be terrible. Oh, sorry. I think the game's going to be terrible. Sorry, I had my bad. My bad. I don't mean to.
No.
I don't mean to attack people, but my goodness, that man. I think personally, he probably stopped watching that video live so that way he could go take care of things, because he saw Starfield and his mind was blown.
Yeah.
But that actually brings us to a super chat we have from John Wolf. It's a $5 super chat. Thank you, John. He says they about to start having Starfield condoms so you can fly your ship into orbit.
Oh,
LOL.
Oh,
John.
Good old John W.
John Wolf.
How you made me read that, dear sir.
Thanks, Silent.
Anytime, buddy. Anytime.
So if you want Silent Cypher to read really obnoxious stuff, super chats are the way. No, I'm just kidding. No, don't do it. Don't do it.
I take requests.
Oh God, that's too funny. That's too funny. But guys, what do you guys think? I mean, I'm sure you guys have all seen Dreamcast guy. I know Dirt has, because Dirt is so Dirt. I can hardly wait for your information there, your perspective.
Starfield.
I love KSLT.
Jesus
Speak
Christ.
no evil, hear no evil, see no evil. Love you, KSLT. You're the man.
Yeah. Yeah. It was funny because in the Starfield Direct, he was it seemed like he was just blatantly hating on it, because I was seeing those clips. I saw those clips, and he was just, no matter what, this game is dog shit. This game is dog shit. And he was just pissed off, like he was angry, right? Why is this game making you mad, man? And they said, but I will review it because I do review. Nobody's going to like accept you reviewing that game, because you already said you're gonna hate the game. But I don't know, man. It just seems like this game is something that Xbox hasn't really had before. Yes, I understand. They had to buy ZeniMax. Whatever they bought, it is theirs. When you buy a used car, is it yours now? You're damn right it is.
That's
right.
true. Dang right it is.
Yeah. So they bought it, it's theirs, and this game is going to be a big deal. And I don't know. This is the biggest Xbox first party game since what? Gears in 2006. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a game that's as big as this.
That or original Halo.
Yeah, the original Halo. Yeah, but I would say Gears. It excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge game. So it's going to cause a lot of we've already seen a lot of hating, a lot of negativity surrounding the game, and that's going to continue. So let's be ready for it.
Yeah. Especially since a lot that has been it's known 100% officially known that PlayStation was trying to money hat the game.
Ooh.
So
then we find out that's why I feel like, you know what, I'm tired of this.
And remember what everybody say, Sony got the eye of quality, and they can't go against that with Starfield, because if Sony was trying to purchase exclusivity to it, that lets you know, are you trying to say that Sony doesn't know what a good game looks like? That's why I tell people Starfield ain't gonna be bad, because if we go off of everybody's logic, PlayStation don't miss on games, and they don't pay for exclusivity on stuff that they don't think it's going to be really good.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that Microsoft was like, that ain't happening, lets you know that this game's most likely going to be one of those type of game of the generation type games for them, especially since it's in the universe that Todd Howard created in his first major IP, literally since Elder Scrolls.
Yep.
Yeah. I tell you what was funny, and I'll let this dead horse go. But our good friend, actually, he made this exclusively for us. Whoops, wrong button. There we go. Try this one.
So if this is about competition,
No, that wasn't it. That was it. You know what? When you hit a lot of wrong buttons, things go off the rails. How about this one?
The man with the million.
There you go. Randall Thor 19. Wow, that was a clusterfuck.
Why he sound like he was aroused when he was doing that?
So sultry.
So I had one in the can.
I'm gonna have to call him, man.
And he when he was on our show, he said, "Oh, let me get you a new one." I said, "All right," and that's what he did for us.
The man with the million.
Yeah, I told him. I said, you need to have an OnlyFans page. There you go. But
just got finished.
He sounds like he's about to crack open a fine wine.
Exactly. But the one thing he said is that he goes, he's met Dreamcast guy, and he sounds nothing like that. He said, he goes, that is all his persona, his crackhead. I mean, whatever. His way to make money is because he's a quote unquote character.
Hey, that's the same thing Paris said. A couple was it last week? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Last week, Paris joined me and Shaun on TTS.
Nice.
And he said that exact same thing. He was like, I talked to the guy. He doesn't even talk like that. So, yeah.
If I had look, I'd rather you met me, Dirt, in real life. There's no difference.
No, he's the same guy.
There's no difference when I met Dirt. Dirt is the same exact person. It's like me personally, it's a personal opinion. I can't be something different on camera than I am in real life, because I don't want to try that hard. If I can't succeed in being a whatever I want to be on the internet, content creator, if I can't do it being me, then I'm just gonna be me, and it's just gonna be what it is.
Yeah,
that's too much.
It's too hard, bro. It's too much work. I agree with you, man. It's too much work. This is me. I don't have time to be being one guy on the internet and being. That's why I always say, like people say, "Hey, man, this pony, he's actually a good guy in real life." I'm sure he is. But his internet persona is a POS, and I don't. So if his internet persona is a piece of trash, I don't want to know the real guy. I mean,
there you go.
I'm gonna go by his internet persona,
right?
Def Leppard dropped a message in there. I thought it was pretty good. Dut TTS 24/7.
24/7. Yep.
24/7.
I love it. I love it.
Listen, I would be talking to the homie Shaun on the phone, man, and we be talking trash on there like F ponies, man. Y'all can't stand them. And it's be me and him talking. So it is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. I want to do a big welcome out to Mr. Joanna Dark. He was the winner last week where we gave away our Xbox mini fridge. Congratulations again to Mr. Joanna Dark for being here in the chat and for winning that prize. And I know he did get it this week, and so hopefully he's got some nice cold beverages chilling in there. Hopefully. So, but yeah. Anyway, congratulations, dude. Well deserved. It was fun. We're going to do more giveaways. I promise. We are definitely working toward that. Me and RHETRI both want to, to put back into the show and to be able to do some giveaways and stuff. Because to show a little support and thank you for people joining us. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. Yeah, exactly. The master fridge. I love it.
It's a nice refrigerator.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I actually got a really good deal on it, and I bought it specifically as a giveaway. When Walmart was doing a closeout on some stuff, they go crazy stuff they got and they're selling really well, but let's close it out and make room for something else. Whatever. So I bought one, got a good deal on it, and then used it as a prize. Nice. All right, so guys, let me. I've got this widescreen. Go ahead.
Actually, I was just going to say, I heard that Mr. Joanna Dark actually plans on just storing a bunch of copies of Code Veronica in that fridge. So that way, when he goes out to these different events, Gamescom and stuff, he can just like slide them right out to people, and they'll be nice and crisp. They'll be ready to go right into that system. Big fan of that Code Veronica. It's unfortunate. Bad takes, but it's good to see you, sir.
Why don't you? I'll let you read that one from him since you're slandering him.
Which one?
It's on the screen right now.
I said, WebDave, I'm drinking salty tears from Silent Cypher as Mario Wonder approaches.
Yeah, Mario Wonder lit, bro.
God bless you, sir.
Mario Wonder. It's gonna be lit.
I'm talking about folks that look like they're on meth. Mario in this new game.
Oh, come on now. Come on now. We got to give Mario a break.
How'd you get Dreamcast guy in my Mario game? How'd that happen?
I don't know. Oh, goodness.
Too soon? My bad.
Not at all. Wow. Oh, man. So let's we'll move on to a different subject. I know you guys are I'm boring you to death, so I apologize for that.
No, you're good.
But man, I really appreciate you guys being here. Really do. This is good. This is good fun. And we do have a couple more subjects that we're gonna subjects.
Let's do it.
We're gonna jump onto. Let me throw this in the let's see, we've already talked about that one, so I'm gonna redo over the top of that one.
You want to talk about Forza Motorsport missing some content?
No, yeah, yeah, we can talk about that. Plus, we also got this we can talk about. This is actually the actual thumbnail to start. There we go. So, is Call of Duty coming to Game Pass, the new one, this year? Do we think the deal's going to be completely done and it's going to come right away? No, anybody?
I think even if the deal is done, the new one probably won't come.
Nope. I think 2025 is the earliest you'll see one.
Yep. I do believe they're going to throw all the old ones in there immediately.
Oh yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I think everything clear of whatever deal PlayStation has with Activision is literally up for grabs at that point.
So most likely the one that's out now, the current Modern Warfare 2, do you think that will, once it's the next year, do you think that'll drop in when the new one's out?
No, that's a good question. So
that is the good question.
Yeah. Like, is there a time period where the most recent Call of Duty can jump into Game Pass? That's a good question.
Well, supposedly that deal got redone 2 years ago. So that means if we only get up to Vanguard, then that's why, because it's a 2-year deal.
Okay.
Now, one thing that they did say, I didn't mean to cut you off, Cypher.
No, you're good.
No, you're good.
Jump this out real quick. That Jim actually Sony, not just Jim, but they had to, since they had finally did the agreement, and Jim made the in court documents that he had made the negotiation that he didn't feel like they should have to be stuck in the contract.
That's true too. A lot of stuff could have changed.
If people are going to be associating it with Xbox, Microsoft, and Game Pass anyway, could that be the trigger that this new contract that they now have Sony is exclusive for a 10-year deal but it doesn't have anything else in it. It's all about Call of Duty from what we understand. So could they have been?
So this is the question.
Mm-hmm.
If that deal was redone, does it affect this year's Call of Duty?
Right.
See,
now I don't think this year's Call of Duty is going to go in Game Pass just due to I think it's quick.
Mm-hmm.
I think if that's the case, you will see it before the next one comes out. But you're right. They did say that they could have redone the deal. It ultimately comes down to this. If you don't see marketing on Call of Duty coming up, well, not coming up because I think the 17th is the 17th is when they're doing the reveal of it in Warzone. So you won't. So will you see a PlayStation logo in that trailer?
I haven't seen one yet, have we?
So,
these are interesting questions.
Now, they said that there is the beta for this new one.
Yes,
and it is a timed exclusive for Sony.
Right, and that's what. But that's mostly due to because the deal isn't complete yet.
Right.
Now, once the deal is complete, that's why I think this year's isn't going to be affected by it.
Good point.
Due to the fact that the deal, even with it being not complete, PlayStation, Sony, Microsoft has literally giving whatever obligation of the deal they had currently at that moment for the game that they're working on. They usually let that just continue in perpetuity until it's over. Now, I do think that would affect next year's Call of Duty if it's the case. But I don't think you will see it this year just due to the fact that by the time this game comes out and the marketing for it starts, you'll still see PlayStation all over it because they do have the marketing deal as of right now because Xbox doesn't own it yet.
Right.
Cypher, can you read that one real quick?
P-Lump.
So P-Lump with the $2 super chat, he says, Dirt getting that Xbox money.
What up, P-Lump, you POS?
Did you get your check in the mail too?
Did they send you a nice round box, a nice square box with September 1st on it?
Yeah, and they said, you know what, since I'm the new token black guy for Xbox, so like that's what they said. They said, hey, Dirk Griggity, he's the new token black Xbox guy because they're gonna throw like Kid Smooth criticizes Xbox, so Dirk Griggity, he's the new black guy.
I can't believe they called you out like that, man. And who was it that did that video?
Oh, that was J Tech TV. He said I'm the new black guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
what a dork.
We're not going to talk about what J-Tech's known for at this point.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a whole different show. We're not going to go down that one. Oh, Lord.
Kid Smooth ended up saying down the gauntlet because now he's with Apple or something.
Yeah.
So it's all
listen.
you,
he was just a little emotional.
Is that what it was?
A little bit.
Was that what that was?
He's a little emotional, and I had to like talk him off the ledge. I was like, "Bro, what are we doing?"
Yeah. Oh, so you did talk to him? I talked to him in the DM for a second.
Oh yeah, I talked to him for a minute. I was like, "Well, what are we doing?"
Reminds me of what one of my bosses told me back in the day when I was working in beer sales. He's like, if you ever have a situation with an account or you want to send an email or something that comes from a heated place, write out that email or prep that message and then throw it in the draft and then come back to it in like a couple hours and see if it still seems like it's a good idea. I feel like maybe that's what should have happened there.
There is literally many videos that I recorded and I sat on it for like a day, and I was like, I'm not doing.
I'm gonna go ahead and delete this one.
Calmer,
that makes sense. What you said, Silent.
It does.
That makes sense. You sit on it. If you still feel this way in a few hours or whatever, okay. That makes sense.
It does.
Don't get me wrong.
That's probably good advice.
Yeah,
I've still got myself under the firing squad a few times because I still thought it was a good idea, but generally it works.
But also,
what were you thinking?
But I always tell people also, if you get to a point where you have to think about it more than once, then you probably shouldn't do it, or
Probably
you probably
shouldn't do
shouldn't
it.
send it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's very
100%.
true.
Yep.
Very true. I do want to welcome out the over 175 people in the chat. Thank you all so much for being here. That is awesome. And enjoying Dirt Griggity, Gaming Forte, and Silent Cypher. Yes, 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 yes. Oh man, what a great panel tonight. And I do want to let people know that that RHETRI should be back next week. He had a death of his mother, unfortunately, and our hearts go out to him and his whole family. His
Sorry to
mother
hear
passed last week,
Oh.
and so definitely our hearts go out to him. That's why he's hasn't been on last week and this week, dealing with family and doing that kind of thing, getting his head right. But he wanted everybody to know that he will be back in a gaming headspace here before long. And
Nice.
like I said, we wish him all the best.
Absolutely.
So there we go. One thing I did want to pop up here was Silent was actually nice enough to bring this up. So Forza Motorsport features are going to be, some of them are going to be missing. Is that a big deal? Should the game be delayed? What do you guys think about this?
So,
and I'll tell you my thoughts after.
So to preface it, right,
Yes,
as we're
go right ahead.
going into the conversation. So it's been about 3 weeks ago now, but we found out also that the drag racing mode and the drift mode would be delayed. And then we had that video from Chris Sasaki, I think it was on Thursday or Friday, where he basically, it was like the apology tour video, right? Where it's like, hey, we're not going to have this. Oh, and we're not going to have this. And by the time he got to that third thing, the split screen, he seemed like a man who had been through it. Like he had been through some shit. And he was like, oh, and we're also delaying split screen. So there's that. And you're just like, oh. But here's my thing. So I kind of mentioned it previous to Dave, but I had actually thrown a post on there on Twitter just saying, like, if they need more time because there's issues, because like I don't mind if you delay like a game mode, but if you continue to show me over and over and over again that there are more game modes getting delayed, that scares me and makes me think that maybe there's something more intensive happening in the dev studio, right? Like the game's been delayed a few times as well. So it just makes me think like maybe there's more to it than just split screen. People attacked me hard and were like, I don't care about split screen. And I was like, well, I get that, but look at the bigger picture. Maybe there's stuff going on and there's a reason why these are getting delayed, not just because they decide it wasn't a good idea to have it, So Dirt, what's your take on this? What are your thoughts?
Well, first off, I feel the split screen is something I don't think they should even said anything. I don't think people would even notice.
Yeah.
But they're being transparent and that's fine. Well, you hate to see games come out missing features, especially games like this with some multiplayer aspects, some different modes. And it's unfortunate. And I'm not making excuses. Should the game be delayed? It depends. I think it depends on if those modes are that important. Can the modes wait? Yes, because in today's gaming climate, this is kind of the norm, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I know Forte gonna say, oh, when Nintendo games on
Oh no, I wasn't about to bring up Nintendo games, sir.
The Nintendo seal of approval, right?
So yeah, but I don't know. I guess it depends on the person if they feel the game should be delayed for certain features. Like with Halo Infinite, they didn't have certain things ready at launch. The content was slow to drop. It's a risk. It's a risk for Xbox to put out a game that's missing some features. Split screen to me personally, I don't give a damn, and I don't think a lot of people do. But some of the other features, some people, probably care more than others. So it's unfortunate. Do I think the game should have been delayed for a few features? No, but you do want these. Well, like you do want the game 100% complete when it's dropping, especially when you have some years. But it seems like this happens more often than it should nowadays, though.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Of which that actually brings a question I wanted to throw to Forte on this. So you know, if they're going to start cutting these features, because we've heard, you know, development costs are extensive, and for us to get all these things, we're going to have to raise the price to $70. Is it worth $70 if we continue to get a bunch of content cut out going into the launch?
So you want me to pay full price for a game that I don't have everything for at launch?
That's it, right? And that's the whole, I think that's the crux to like the whole games as a service thing, right? Like it's the grift. It's like, oh,
don't you have Game Pass?
Promises of the future.
Oh, I have game 2026, baby.
Oh, same here.
And so do I. But you know, for someone who goes to buy a physical copy of this, be it over at Forte's shop or over at a Best Buy or Walmart or whatever, and they go in, they expect that some of this type of stuff's going to be in there. They expect a full-fledged $70 game, and then they find out these things are cut. Like, I can understand the frustration there. And I would wonder, like, maybe we jumped to $70 a little too soon if we're having to cut a bunch of content out that people would have gotten previously.
I don't care about it even being 70. It's the fact that I still pay $15 a month, and I expect games to have fully featured. See, this is the thing. If this was anybody but Xbox, this would probably be okay for a little bit. It's the fact that Xbox has put themselves in a situation for years that they haven't had any games that most people consider of AAA quality. And that the first game that's supposed to start at the brand new Xbox and the new way of Xbox games being done came out being a hot mess in Redfall. And then Starfield coming out in their direct and them saying, hey, 30 frames per second. It's just a lot of news that's been leading up to this point. And so, like Dirk said, is it huge that Forza is missing features? Not if it was like the first time, but we're also seeing that a lot of these features they're talking about are features that their flagship game that they considered their flagship before this, which was Halo, they still ain't got. And they said they're not giving them to you. They said, we're not giving you. They said, oh, split screen. Every time you play Halo, you walk into one of those outposts and you see those 4 terminals that you can walk into with your friends that you will never use in the game because they already canceled co-op in it. And they said, I mean, not cancel co-op, but they canceled split screen and stuff. Up until that point, it was like reminding you that, yo, I was supposed to be able to play this at launch with 4 other people or play split screen with somebody in my house. I was supposed to be able to do that. So the fact that Redfall is sitting at 100 days already or over 100 days where we still haven't got any information on the 60 frames per second patch. We still haven't got information on people that bought the Bite Back edition, those people that got the extra operatives that they're supposed to get with that version of the game. Nothing about that. So it's just that it's been a bunch of just bad news when it comes to stuff like that. But is it huge? No, but for the people that love Forza, I love Forza. I don't play in split screen because I just play online with other people. But just like I said with Halo, I'm not a person that played in split screen on Halo either, but it's a feature that people cared about. And that's the thing. I don't want people to keep paying for things and feeling like they're not getting everything that they're supposed to get. I already feel a little jaded that they raised the price. Now, it doesn't affect me because I paid for Game Pass for years. Right. So the price hike didn't bother me. But the fact that literally we went almost a year and a half where all of these games we were supposed to get a year ago, we're finally getting this year, but then they raised the price on us. So it's just a bunch of dumb things that's kind of happening. And I just kind of want them to like reel that in. And I want to see Xbox finally get to a point where we're not worried about the things you're not doing. We're worried about the things that you are doing, because that's all that people keep thinking about. It's like Xbox is doing this wrong. They're doing that wrong. And they just make it hard for you to kind of always have a good face and put on like, oh, it's going to be great. Xbox is they're going to do amazing things. But then you're letting people down in the one thing that matters the most, and it's the games. Yeah. And yes, Forza is going to be amazing. I know it's going to be amazing because Turn 10 didn't forget how to make a Forza game.
No.
Right.
And they didn't make it. But last thing is, I try not to blame this on hardware, but sometimes you kind of got to think like, all of these studios that's been talking about why they aren't able to do certain things, is the S really starting to become part of the issue? Now, it's a great system for the people that bought it, but I think Xbox did themselves a disservice by not putting a clear barrier in the middle, telling people that we are not going to hold back the people that have an X for the people that have an S.
Yeah.
We're not going to hold you back. We're going to give you all the things that you want. You want the bells and whistles. You know, if this was, I guarantee split screen probably wouldn't be a problem if it was just on the X. And if they said that feature is not available on the S and it will come later, that would be great. But I think a lot of people are tired of being hung back by a system they didn't buy because of the system they did buy. But that could be a whole nother thing. But, you know, that's just how I think about all of it.
I got some.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you got some sign.
Oh, no. Read that super chat real quick, and then we'll get Dirt's opinion.
Oh, yeah. So Rangy Force said with the $1.99 super chat, he said, what type of split screen, vertical or horizontal? Thank you, Rain. If I remember correctly, what was it? It was
a box on each side.
Yeah, it's a box on each side.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you, and some of the games actually gave you the option of vertical or horizontal, just depending on what it was. But I mean, neither situation is super great. Like couch co-op is definitely better if it's a game like a Battletoads or Castle Crashers or something where you're not actually separating the picture. You're literally all included in the picture. But
Xbox shouldn't even mention it. Turn 10 shouldn't even mention it.
No, they shouldn't. Yeah.
Go ahead, Dirt. What's your
no, this is what I honestly thought about the S situation, and it seems to me that the S just takes more work, right? We've seen early in the generation where there were games that dropped on the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, and later they dropped an update for the Xbox Series S that made the game run at 60, but it was like maybe a month or two later. So it's clear. I remember Phil Spencer even admitted that the Xbox Series S is more work. It's definitely more work. So it's more work, and developers probably hate that. I mean, even us at our regular jobs.
Yeah, Matt Booty even said it. He said they need to prepare more.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm sure, you know, like developers are not happy about certain things, and you know, you do want to make the developers happy, but it just seems like it's just a more work thing. And you know, with Baldur's Gate, you know, maybe Forza. I'm not sure if the S is the issue with Forza. I don't know, but I mean, there's definitely something there that we need to address. If it's just a more work thing, Forte, you're right. Like the people with the X, because it seems like when they're delaying it for the S because of the S, the X is also being delayed. So that's definitely that's pretty much what the issue is. I mean, so that's something we should talk about. Us Xbots that's around in the chat, because I mean, listen, the S is a great console. But if it's holding back certain things, like I said, if it's a delay if the S is causing a delay, it's like some studios are saying, I'm going to delay the X also. Now, I did mention, like I said earlier in the generation, there were games dropping on the X that had 60 FPS mode at launch, but the S had 30. I feel drop the S if, you know, like the S version doesn't have a certain mode or a certain FPS, you know, it just doesn't. Excuse me. Maybe they will work on it later, but we don't want the X to be affected. X owners to be affected by the S.
Yep.
You know, it makes me wonder because, like you were saying, Forte, obviously, like this gaming, the console parity clause that has bit them in the butt a few times now so far from what we're seeing, and it kind of makes me wonder. Because we even saw, I think it was a dev from Larian even said the same thing when people started going with the exclusive narrative, right? They're like, no, it's coming to Xbox and it'll be on S and we can do split screen. It's going to take more work.
This is time.
Which makes sense, right? Like if you're setting up for different SKUs, there's going to be peaks and valleys you're going to have to work around to try and get that set up properly. I kind of wonder though, if maybe eventually the path forward is to kind of do sort of like what the Xbox One did, where you can play stuff through Game Pass or whatever, but you do it as streaming only instead of directly off the hardware. I wonder if maybe that's a future we see where we've got those issues, because they do have that console parity clause. And at this point, if they came in, they said, hey, we're changing this. The experience on Series S is not going to be the same for you anymore. We're focusing on X or whatever. Like I think the optics of that would be really messy. I think you'd almost have to wait until a new generation before you decide to make that separation, right?
Well, that's already in place for a lot of games that for like the original Xbox. If you got Game Pass, or not like Xbox One original, you can. That's the only way you could play the game.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
because you have to stream it to your system because it's only available on the newer systems.
Right.
But I think ultimately it just comes back to people just want what they pay for. And that's it. And like parity clause or not, because everybody we really don't know what's going on in these offices and in these corporations and stuff. I just think people at one point just want to know that when I buy a game, I want to have the full experience. And I think Xbox just has a capacity of just saying this is when the game is coming out, and they don't do anything about it. It's like, why announce Forza's release date if you know the game isn't fully feature ready to come out? Especially since especially since you had a litmus test on how Halo went with that, and you heard how people interacted with that. So I don't have like I said, no one wants to bash on it. It's just the fact I think this is like a really terrible subject, because it's something that a lot of people have been dealing with, not just with Xbox, with PlayStation, even on PC. We still got Jedi Survivor running around, barely running like it's supposed to, like 15 different patches. So it's not just an Xbox thing, but I think it affects Xbox the most because they fully control it. They fully control when the release date is, when it hits Game Pass, and they keep giving us these dates for things, and then they're telling us that this won't be ready at launch. And that's the thing that needs to change.
I tell you, Fuzzy Belvedere had mentioned on Boom Show when we were talking about some of this, and he said that so Gran Turismo 7 has updates, and every time they update it, it destroys the split screen in that game, and then they have to go in and patch it like a couple weeks later, and then it happened again. So it's happened like 3 times that this, that it's been there, but because that game opened or started as kind of a bug fest as well.
Oh my
God. That was buggy as well. I mean, I remember when the car was going around the corner, I was like, it flew off the screen. I was like, what? That was hilarious. This is the greatest driving game ever. Really.
Gran Turismo is great. Hey, Abdel114, he said there's no performance parity clause with the S and X. Now that's true, because I haven't seen, well, like we mentioned earlier, there were some games that didn't have a performance mode, 60 FPS performance mode on the S.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. You mind reading that real quick, the super chat?
Oh, yeah. So Rain G4 with the $1.99 super chat. Thank you, Rain. He said change the Xbox S to IP Xbox if possible. I assume he's talking maybe the same type of thing, right? It's just doing the stream. Is that?
I think he's
he's just being really funny right now.
Yeah, Rain G4 is a jokester, man.
There you go.
Well, fine. You got me on that one. But yeah, thank you, Rain. Thank you.
And then I did want to one last little thing, and you guys, I think all of you pretty much know this, that like if a game is been the works, like a game, they start a new game in development, they have the intentions of having all these different features, right? And then when a game gets, to a certain point, they look at it and it's like, should we go ahead with it, or should we scrap it and go on to something else?
Yeah.
And then decide, okay, let's go with it with these features. But then when it comes down to as it gets close to launch time to being completed, they have a whole list of things that they're still working on. And sometimes games, they're like, you know what? That's just not working. Let's pull this out. Let's pull this level out. Let's pull this boss fight out. Let's pull this particular feature out. And that happens in every single game ever made.
Yeah.
And most people don't even know about it because they don't talk about it.
Right.
And then I think it may have been, they may have done themselves shoot themselves in the foot by talking about some of these. And they may have got questions later like, how come there's no split screen? Oh, we're going to add that later. Instead of talking about it now, thinking, "Oh, it's not coming."
Yeah. He's gonna just
I mean, I don't want to hate on because that is setting expectations for your player base to let them know what they're buying,
right?
But yeah, I mean, sometimes like Dirk said, like, probably less than 0.1% of the player base cares about split screen.
Yeah,
let those people get on the forum and cry about it.
And I think that was actually a lot of the feedback I saw when I made that message, because it got salty really fast. But one of the comments constantly was like, there's a ton of other features and you're worried about these one or two things, which no, I wasn't worried about those one or two things. I was worried about the big picture, but with how many features they do have in this game, it's almost one of those things where it's like you could have just under-promised and over-delivered on that one. If it was possible to do split screen, don't mention it initially, just maybe mention it when you made it available. Like if 6 months to like 12 months down the road, if all of a sudden you had figured out how to do it, you figured out a way to make it work on that system, you could announce and be like, hey, good news, guys, we're bringing split screen. Instead of coming out and taking the heat for it right out the bat. Like I want people to communicate these things, but also like there's going to be fire that comes from these things too. And Microsoft's in a situation where they get scrutinized in a bigger way than everyone else does in the industry.
Yeah, so. I think they probably should take less heat if they would just keep their mouth shut on some things. That's just my opinion. As we move on to another subject, and guys, thank you all. I love it, man. You guys are so amazing. This panel is on fire tonight, and I mean that. So we're gonna throw them a curveball because this kind of happened the last, I guess, 4 or 5 hours. There was a tweet put out by Xbox Brazil. And they posted an image of Final Fantasy VII Remake on their site.
Oh, Lord.
With the headlines, big things to come. And a couple hours later, it has been removed. But Cypher, do you mind reading that out?
Yeah. So lots of rumors circulating. Xbox Brazil showing Final Fantasy VII pick means anything. Phil Spencer on Final Fantasy 14 and FF7 remake. He had stated that he was working on it, but 3 hours ago, Xbox Brazil has now deleted the FF7 remake pick tweet. So yeah, it kind of seems like, because we had just found out about Final Fantasy 14 making the shift, right? Coming in 2024. Seems like this new boss over there at Square Enix is actually willing to get some things done. Which is great. Like I'm not a Final Fantasy guy personally, but I'm really excited because I know there's a lot of folks. There's the Ginger Primes of the world. There's folks like that who have been really advocating for this for like a long time. And so to see these things come to the ecosystem is great. Forte, what's your take? Are you excited about a Final Fantasy VII on here? I personally am excited about it for the salt that is going to land all over the place if this thing actually lands on the system, because again, it's been another narrative that we've seen over and over again the last little bit with Final Fantasy games.
And Forte, before you jump on that, as a GameStop manager, one of the things that I actually got to see, because I had friends that were still managers after I had already left, but when that game came out and they had they're, on the box they sold for the PlayStation said 1 year exclusive.
Yep.
And then there was shipped to stores marketing for the Xbox version of Final Fantasy VII Remake already in stores, in their hands, ready to go up on a quote unquote marketing day that amazingly didn't get put out. It got pulled and said, you got a memo saying, destroy those, throw them away. Don't let them out.
A lot of stuff like that happens.
It does, doesn't it?
It happens a lot. You'd be surprised. Just like if you get Xbox marketing for something like Destiny, and then you find out like, oh no, don't put that up. even though it's a game that you can literally buy on Xbox.
Yeah.
You can't show it. We can't show it. That's dirty. Xbox is dirty. We can't show that around here. No. So what was it? Because he said, what was your question again? Silent.
I'm sorry. It was basically
so just
the
sorry.
remake is
the remake. The remake. Ooh, okay.
So the leak is coming now. What do you believe the leak? Do you think it's true that they pulled it down for a reason, or do you think it's just somebody made
the leak is true. I believe the leak because the game is always going to come to Xbox. It's just when.
Yeah,
it's when. It's when. The game was
posted it a little too soon. They probably got overzealous.
It literally seems like this game, like at this point, I feel like this isn't coming to Xbox until the whole trilogy is out. That's at this point, that's what I kind of feel at this point. Because Rebirth is unless we get it, unless it's an announcement for
like Tokyo Game Show.
Yes. Because maybe it might be tied to the fact that they said we wanted exclusive until the next version comes out. So Rebirth comes out, they'll finally announce the date for that. And then once Rebirth is announced, they can finally announce the Xbox version of Final Fantasy VII Remake. And they'll probably do the integrated version because it has all the DLC, which Xbox benefits because you don't gotta, get the same price, get everything. But if that doesn't happen, unfortunately, you won't see it until all three come out. That's what I kind of think it's going to be the thing. But I also do think that the exclusivity of Final Fantasy after 16 is going to pretty much go away. I think Square, and I think the fact that they literally cheered Phil Spencer on that stage. I've never seen
they did.
Like he was I know he enjoyed it, he loved it. He was like probably almost borderline embarrassed of how much they were like congratulating him because they kept talking about how they could not get to this point without him. Like all the things that he did, and we know that he's been very, very ingracious to the Japanese the industry and everything. He's been over there with Sega, hollering at all the different Persona games that we're finally getting into Game Pass. So it's been a long road with Xbox in Japan. So I think that this is basically the beginning of that. Final Fantasy 7 and Final Fantasy 7 in general and Final Fantasy 16, I think it's kind of the end of what we currently see as the border of Xbox not getting the Final Fantasy games day and date. But I don't think we're going to get, me personally, I just don't think we're going to get it until all three are out. I hope I'm wrong. I already played them. Well, I already played 7 integrate because I don't wait for games.
I love it. Phil Spencer.
Oh, and speaking of which, Ginger Prime, that was like the most, I wish people actually put themselves out like that more. Like, all those people that was complaining
like was
about
so
him
earnest.
screaming, I was like, I said, first of all, y'all don't know the history of what's going on here. Like, was he a little more animated and stuff? Absolutely. But shoot, when Tom Brady got sacked in the Super Bowl and they lost their undefeated season, I cried because I was hurt. Like, it was the first time in my life where I felt like I was truly in something that really doesn't matter, but it hit me differently. Yeah. Because of the situation and the purpose of what happened right there. And I think for him, knowing I talked to him outside of, just Twitter and everything, I played Destiny with him and everything. He genuinely been talking about this for years. And it finally happened. It's like somebody telling you that it's never going to happen, and it does. You just get overwhelmed. And that's what happened. So Shout out to him for being real. That's all I
yeah,
care
man.
about.
Go ahead,
Absolutely,
Dirt. What you
it
got?
was
What
such
you
an
got to say about it?
earnest.
No, just listen, I agree with what Forte said. I do believe Final Fantasy 16 will probably be the last PlayStation exclusive Final Fantasy new one, because I just feel this new CEO of Square Enix, look, man, look. I understand PlayStation is more popular over here, but come on, let's just put our games as many places as they can be, right? As we can. And I mean, listen, brother, if they said Final Fantasy 15 sold 1 million on Xbox, maybe 3 or 4 million on PS4.
Mm-hmm.
1 million is 1 million. I mean, that's better than nothing, right?
Million,
That's
right.
better than nothing. So it's at the point where Phil Spencer, and they said Phil Spencer was the reason Final Fantasy 14 is coming to Xbox. He went over there, and hey, now Forte, now you remember for years we heard, like maybe back in 2018, 2017, Phil Spencer is traveling to Japan. And I remember people saying he's traveling to Japan and ain't shit happening. Nothing is happening. Well, things take time, right?
Takes time.
Things take time. So here we are. And if Final Fantasy 7 comes to Xbox, I think that's great, man. A lot of Xbox fans really wanted to play the game. Some of them got a PS5 to play it or a PS4 to play it, but like Ginger Prime, he was excited. It's Square Enix is, putting more Final Fantasy stuff on Xbox, and at that show, Phil and those guys said, not only is Final Fantasy 14 coming, future Square Enix games are coming also. So I think that's just a great thing, man. Because Phil has said for years he's really been trying to get some things done in Japan. There were so many Japanese games that would just skip Xbox altogether because obviously Xbox doesn't do well in Japan. And it's good to see things is happening, man. So if this is true, which it probably is, maybe they made a mistake. Because I do remember in the advertising, like you said, WebDave, the advertisement for Final Fantasy 7 remake, it used to say at the bottom of the screen, coming, was it like console exclusive? But maybe they were talking about PC. I don't know. But
it was 1 year exclusive, and for consoles to PlayStation for 1 year.
So you
think
and
it was a sticker that was on the back, and then it said coming in a year to PlayStation. It was a sticker they put on all the marketing.
Listen, man, it's coming, man. Just like the PlayStation marketing messed around, and when they showed off PlayStation 5 games for the first time, and they showed Demon Souls at the very bottom, it said PlayStation and PC. And the next thing you know, it didn't say PC no more. I'm like, yo, listen, these things happen. It's going to happen at some point.
Yeah, I mean, like PlayStation's out there making deals, and I have no problem with it. It's it's part of business. Like even like Stellar Cheeks, Stellar Blade, it was a multi-platform game, and PlayStation made the deal. I have no problem with that.
Yep.
I just have a problem with people when Xbox is doing business and they're making deals and people crying about that. But yeah, I think it's cool, man.
Awesome. Silent, you got anything else you want to add to that? You're muted.
Like I said, I'm just a.
I think you're just lagging.
I see your image is lagging. Your voice. You're good.
Oh my bad. No.
If you want to, why don't you drop out real quick and then jump right back in?
Yeah,
jump out and I'll add you back in.
Because that was weird looking at his face.
Yeah, it was. It's like he is. I was thinking he's gonna jump back in to us real quick, and then we'll jump to one more curveball. I also wanted to throw out there real quick that I'll add him back. Hey, buddy, welcome back.
Hello.
Hey, that's much better. You're back in sync.
Your camera caught up to your voice.
Yeah.
Yes. Internet sometimes, man.
Yeah, it happens. It's all good. So go.
So all I was gonna say is just I'm really excited for folks that want those Final Fantasy games, and it seems like they're starting to actually make some real headway in that market. I think that's that's great in general, and that's going to be great for competition, because with them doing this, Sony will have to react. Like it's constantly that battle back and forth, right? And so like the fact that it will be there now is a good thing for not just us, but also for Sony side, really, because like then Sony's going to have to see this and be like, okay, well now we've got to step it up. We have to react accordingly. So I think it's great.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. And I do want to thank the over 200 people in the chat right now. So thank you all so much for being here. We greatly appreciate it. And I do want to mention out that we do have the option of obviously we do have memberships here if you want to be able to get these awesome, cool. I'm told I don't mention this enough, so I'm just going to mention it now. Awesome, cool icons. Plus, we also do a special show that is actually we got a new one coming up here in about 2 weeks that is going to be for members only for the first 3 days. Then it drops to everybody, and we're going to have Wilmy Hood and Scrub Nurse are going to be on which is going to be cool, from Gaming Beyond the Box, which is awesome because their show is actually the same time as ours, so we can never get them on our show. So this is kind of a nice way to get them on because they can't. So there you go. And that kind of works out. So plus you can also gift memberships as well. So that's also something that people can do. And if it does happen, then make sure that you set yourself up to accept the gift. So, all right. So as we wrap things up, and again, thank you all so much for being here, man. But I am going to throw another curveball because this isn't something we talked about. But I just found it really interesting. And I kind of want to get everybody's thoughts on this. And I'm going to let Cypher read it out loud.
Oh.
All right. So, Sony has told their investors that they are willing to take necessary measures, quote unquote, in order to meet its 25 million PS5 sales target. Does this mean deep discounts and sales on hardware, accessories, etc.?
So, have you guys heard anything about this? It's just
I saw that article right before the show started, and I was like, interesting.
So, all right. What are you guys' thoughts? Jump in, anybody who wants to.
So, there is a huge PlayStation sale going on right now.
There is, isn't there?
$50 off a PlayStation 5, off a disc-based system, $25 off controllers. Oh, it's lit out here. It's lit out here in these streets. And it makes sense because I was wondering, I was like, dang, they're literally giving $50 off brand new PlayStation 5s. And they just really started getting them in stock like that. So what's really happening? But like I always said, the company is being run by a money-motivated individual. And how do you get more people to spend more money in your ecosystem? You get more people in your ecosystem. And I literally have had more people in the last, most people don't even like there's a lot of savvy consumers out there that actually know pricing of stuff. But most people that walk in the store, they don't even know how much stuff costs. They just know that they want it. They say, oh, I want to get a PlayStation. How much do they cost? It's been more people walking in like, hey, PlayStations are on sale $50 still right now, right? I said, yeah, they are. And I said, yeah, I want to get one. And I'm like, oh, okay. You made it real easy for me. So, yes, so that's how you get more people in your ecosystem to spend more money. You lower the price of stuff and make it a little bit more digestible for them to do it. And then you tie that with your controller. So that when I saw the article or saw the what's the name, I was like, oh, it all makes sense. Circle of life is feeding itself at this point.
Dirt.
Yeah, I actually saw something else that said Sony must pay higher margins on shipments to retailers like Best Buy, Amazon, Target, and Walmart. PSLs are more profitable when they are sold directly by Sony. When I heard about these the $50 price drop, I was thinking they're trying to get rid of the PS5s because they're about to drop a Slim. Maybe that's not the case. Maybe it's what we just read, right? Maybe it's just so this is very interesting. Like you said, Forte, they're trying to get more people in the ecosystem. And I believe that's one thing that Xbox figured out a long time ago. Consoles are one of the ways to get in their ecosystem. Of course, there's PC, there's cloud. They just want people to subscribe to Game Pass, and PlayStation. Really, the only way to get into their ecosystem is console.
Yep.
So there you go. And they're doing what they have to do to get people in the ecosystem. They're trying to do what they have to do to get those 25 million PS5 sales target, whatever it is. And that's fine. But I just think it goes to show you that, when you console war like me, when sales is the number one thing, like the number one bragging right from PlayStation fanboys, because right now their games are kind of sparse. Let's be honest here. So when sales is their number one go-to, when you see something like this, it makes me smile.
Right.
Like, you see PlayStation sellers so damn great. Well, they're dropping the price so they can, because they're not meeting their targets. Right. That's how I'm going to run with it. But no, it's part of the business, I guess. They're doing what they're doing. But like I said, I was thinking this was because they were going to announce Slim this year. Are they still going to announce the Slim, or I don't know?
Forte's eyes get real big, and you'll see a skew in your POS, do you?
Oh man,
not yet anyway.
There's a Spider-Man system on the horizon. That ain't coming right now.
There you go. There you go.
That when they announced the Spider-Man system, that told me everything I needed to know for this year.
Onyx, you gonna be Frozone?
Frozone.
I'm too chunky to be Frozone.
TTS.
Yeah,
I'm too chunky to be Frozone.
Yeah, so shout out to Onyx for the $2 super chat. He said, shout out to the panel and my boy Frozone. TTS. I apologize. Dirt.
I love you. Oh, look, he's got up. I love it.
Oh, hey.
Look at that background.
I had on my PSVR one day, PSVR 1, and they said I look like Frozone. So somebody actually actually did that and made a Frozone. They took my head, put on a Frozone body. I said, you guys are crazy, man.
I love it. And I love that your fans are here, and you do have a lot of fans, sir. You're amazing. So, hey, this is awesome. Silent, do you have any comments about that topic?
Man, I don't know. I mean, I was really excited about the idea of the prospects of a PS5 Slim. And then when I saw that like rumored image over the last couple of days,
yeah, that looked janky.
Dude, that thing, I get it, but man, that is not it.
Yeah,
like,
no,
if that's what they went with, that is not it.
It didn't have a detachable drive like it supposedly would have.
Well, so it did. It did. If you looked at the back of it, because it's even chunkier on the back side of it now.
Okay,
This is a weird conversation to have.
it is.
It literally separates.
Mm-hmm.
It literally separates right there at that mid.
Well, that line, that's the separation.
Yeah,
really.
That's what it looks like. So that way you could take the drive off.
Yeah, but if you look at where it divides at, is that really what's left? Is that really enough to run the PlayStation 5 and a cooling system?
Well, so that connection, right? Because you've just got the shell there, right?
Yeah.
So that part of the shell is literally just a spot where it'd be easy for you to detach and put that drive. It's not going to take up that whole section by any means. It's just going to be an easier access for you to get to that compartment. Or just attach it like on, because it is still down towards the bottom, just like the drive is currently.
Right.
But it
So if it doesn't have the slot in it, is it just going to have a little plate to cover up where the slot would be? I mean, that's
just a flat.
I know
plate,
none of us know.
Make it look like the discless, basically. I think is what it would be, right? It'll just be slightly slimmer.
Yeah, I don't think your new Spider-Man panels are going to fit on that.
So there was some talk about that. I don't know if you guys caught it, but I heard someone saying that they were still going to be compatible because you could technically just replace those shells. You'd have to have that one that could separate if you wanted to put the disk drive on it. But that would look really weird. That'd look really weird if
Wait, let me go get a hacksaw and cut my Spider-Man plates in half.
Yeah, because it's not supposed to actually be that much smaller as far as like the size of the system. But that wasn't it. I don't know. I just kept hoping for something like a PS2 Slim, right? Like, you guys remember that thing was freaking awesome. You could put it anywhere.
I think the biggest thing you're going to see with the new system is they'll probably slim down the internals, because you got to think about it. The slim, they're going to slim down the internals. They're going to keep the same. The system's going to be just as tall as it is now because of the wings. They're not gonna take that away from you. But I think they're going to probably most likely add the disk drive is going to like you said completely separate, but it will plug in. meaning they're probably going to add a USB-C port on the back of the system because there isn't one there now. It's only in the front. Yeah. It's not going to be done through regular USB. So it's going to be probably USB-C plugged into the back, and it's just going to be an optional, nice little dressed up looking case. What looks like your PlayStation 5, and it's going to sit on the side, and it'll just be stick your disc in that, and it goes through USB-C.
Man, I'm glad you said
like
disc.
So I could have
this
a
sound like
Texas.
some
Like
this
oh,
sounds
sorry,
like
go
some Sega CD 32X
Oh no!
shit.
You know what it's going to be? You know what it's? Think about it. This
It's gonna
is what
be
it's
the
going to be.
Xbox HD DVD drive.
Yep, that's what I was about to say. That's exactly what it's going to be. The Xbox HD DVD drive. And Xbox was like, I owned one.
It's gonna. Oh, so did I, dude. I was working at the game store when it came out, and I loved
$200.
Yeah,
what a bargain.
I got mine for $150 because they were panicking at that point.
Oh yeah. Well, you could. Well, the bad thing, remember, because didn't when they announced when it came out, it came with Kong, right?
Yeah,
Kong?
It came with King Kong.
Yeah, it came with Kong's Island.
King Kong, yeah.
You had to enter the rebate thing for it because it came with a couple movies actually.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it was 3.
But the biggest thing that was so bad about it, because it was great, it looked great. It didn't look like it looked so good. But what was bad about it, you just couldn't find the movies.
Yeah, because Blu-ray started to really take over, and
there was a moment I remember walking into like what was it? It was Media Play or FYE at the time, or Sam Goody when it was still around. I remember walking in there, and you almost had 50-50 on HD
at
and
one
Blu-ray,
point.
and I was like, "Holy crap, this is awesome!" Like this is gonna overtake, and then it just got completely disheveled.
And then it was 90-10.
And then that's when you realized and found out that because Sony's on the board for Blu-ray.
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent. Guys, thank you all so much for being here. I do have one thing I want Cypher to read. We're not going to talk about it, but I just think it is pretty funny, and it is movie related.
Oh yes. Barbie movie hits 1.18 billion at global box office. Second highest grossing release in Warner Brothers history.
Damn.
Yeah.
Good.
Isn't that crazy?
I can tell you why too.
Oh yeah, why?
I took my kids to go see that with my niece.
Yeah.
And my niece was like, that was the dumbest movie I ever seen. My daughter was like, this made no sense. And my oldest was like, seems pretty accurate. And I was like, so there was like 3 literally different opinions about this same movie. And when I watched it, I was like, outside of you basically telling me that women rule the world and Ken is just Ken.
Ken is a dummy.
Ken is Ken. I was like, this is going to do really well.
Yeah, I think it's going to do these numbers though.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to do these numbers. But I knew when I walked out of the theater being conflicted and talking to my kids, I was like, this movie's going to do really well. Really well.
Do I need to watch this when it comes to digital, or because
it'll be on a streaming service?
I thought it wasn't the worst movie ever.
It wasn't the worst movie. Oh, you went to go see it at the movie theater, Dirt?
Yeah. Me, my wife, and my 14-year-old went to go see it.
How many times did you find yourself laugh at that movie? I did laugh quite a bit.
Laugh a few times. Yeah, I laughed. It wasn't bad. Like, I wasn't expecting greatness going into it, but it was okay.
The coolest thing was the attention to detail with the older Barbie dolls that they had in it.
Yeah.
I was like, these were real things. And then when they showed them at the end during the credits, I was like, oh yeah, there was a Barbie with a TV on its back.
Yeah.
All
that stuff. They have all the different races, sizes, the different
the pregnancy one.
Yeah, the pregnancy one, and they said she was discontinued. like why is she still here? Yeah, it was okay. It was fun. It was funny. It was a fun movie. Like I said, it was all right, but
it was good
with all of the different occupations.
Yeah,
so it was all right. It was all right.
Yeah.
Hey man, your boy needs some attention right now, Forte.
Who?
I'll tell you after the show.
Okay. Yeah.
I do remember that one commercial for they actually got a lot of trouble for that one when the Barbie was math is hard.
Oh yeah,
that didn't go over so well on that marketing ploy. Yeah.
Oh man.
No, but yeah, I don't think they could have picked a better actor to play Barbie though.
Oh no,
Barbie
perfect,
is awesome.
Perfect.
Absolutely awesome.
Yeah, she's fine though. Is she fine?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. That,
I like the
that
better
was-
as Barbie than as a Harley Quinn. No, well, I take that back.
No,
I like the
no,
Harley Quinn.
Harley.
You know,
yeah, she played.
I like Harley
gorgeous.
Quinn. Yeah. I like Harley Quinn.
I really
Did we
enjoyed her
think we were
in,
going to break down to this kind of
Wolf
talk
of Wall-
tonight? I don't know.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Oh yeah, Wolf of Wall Street. No.
Yeah,
I'm
she
just saying.
was great in that.
Yeah, she was great in Wolf of Wall Street. Mm.
Mhm. Yeah.
I liked her in
Alrighty
that Will
then.
Smith
And as it
movie.
becomes adult
Focus,
talk.
focus. A shout out to Margot
my
Robbie.
Exactly. Big shout out.
She fine.
Oh Lord! All right. So as we run around the horn, I want to say a big thank you to everybody for being here. Thank you so much for being in the chat tonight, guys. You guys were amazing, awesome, and I appreciate each and every one of you. And thank you for joining us here and for making this show a success. We've definitely enjoyed the growth and everything that we've had here, and it's all due to the amazing guests that we have, like what we have here tonight. And I want a big shout out, and I definitely I'm gonna start here at the corner. Dirt Griggity, please tell everybody where they can find you.
Hey everybody. Thank you for joining. Check out my channel. I'm gonna leave a link in the description. It's already in the not in the description, in the chat. Check out my channel if you're here, you're an Xbox fan, you like the console war stuff. I talk a lot of shit. We talk a lot of shit. So if you guys don't mind that banter and you like it, subscribe to my channel, man. I have a good old time. Have a podcast on Monday nights called WBG Xbox Podcast, starting at 6 o'clock on Monday evenings, Eastern time. So yeah, man, just stop by and say what's up.
There you go. And I
Thanks for
definitely
inviting
want
me,
to
bro.
click on. Oh man, it is absolutely a pleasure to have you on here. This is your second time here, and I greatly appreciate you coming back. And Dirt is, I'll tell you this, he's modest, but his channel has reached now over 10K in followers, and it's fantastic and growing. He's on his way to 11K real soon. That's coming up.
Yeah.
I noticed that the other day. That's awesome. And it's going to continue. He'll get to the 100K mark at some point. I know it, because his content is not on. It's funny. Let's
Thank
face
you,
it,
bro.
guys. It's hilarious. If you're a fan of gaming at all, no matter what side you're on, it is hilarious. And he has endless amounts of humor coming at him because, well, pony bots will be pony bots. So there you go. There you go.
Thank you, brother.
There
I
you go.
appreciate it,
You're
man.
welcome, man. Thank you so much for being here. Gaming Forte. I'm so glad that we were able to get you on. I know I called you out last week, but I saw you in the chat and I was like, oh, it's my chance to mention it. And I'm really glad that you were able to get on here because, like I said, you were a great interview. You were a great member of the community. And I love your show that you do with Slow-Mo and of course, Ash and Luca and everything as well, too. So please tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, definitely. It's always great to be here amongst the friends, the family. It's always fun. Gaming Forte, YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live and PlayStation, same place everywhere. DPS is every Thursday, 9 p.m. with the homie Slow-Mo. We had a really great show this last Thursday, plus Scumcast or Scum 101. It depends on what Luca wants to call it that day. That's every Saturday at 7 p.m. So always a great time over there. And make sure you just come through, do Xbox content on the channel, talk about all types of stuff, especially just based on my experience of just dealing with people day to day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where my expertise lies at on it. And we just talk about games over there. So if you like that, come subscribe to the channel. Have a great time. Web, I appreciate you. Always a pleasure being here with you. Same thing with you, Cypher. And Dirt, you know how I feel about you. You better come see me before this year.
I'm gonna come. Hey man, y'all still taking back PSVR's 1?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we are.
Because this shit is just sitting here.
Not for too much longer though, probably. So you better do it
quick.
Yeah, I gotta come on. Because it's just sitting here, man.
Yeah,
I can't use it. I got a PS5. I can't use it.
So
everybody be safe out here, man.
I love it. And Cypher, thank you so much for dropping those in the chat. The links to both are in the chat. So appreciate that. And they're also in the description below. Everybody, including Cypher's information, is also in the chat. So I know there's a lot of good messages in here. I love
25 cents if you want cash.
Oh goodness. Silent Cypher, tell everybody where they can reach you at, man. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, Dave, thanks so much for having me. Thanks for letting me crash the party for a little bit and hang out with you awesome gentlemen. Gaming Forte, Dirt. It was great to hang out with you this evening.
Oh, thanks,
Hopefully
brother.
we can do some more
Same
stuff
here.
in the future.
Absolutely.
And yeah,
got that 50 cent right there for you.
Perfect. he
Oh,
wants
shit,
it
man.
right now. He'll send it. Just send it right to him. But yeah, thanks for letting me, sit in for RHETRI this week. Obviously, he'd love to be here if he could, but he's got stuff going on. So keep him in your thoughts while he's out. I'm glad that you could find another pasty white boy to fill the seat for this evening.
It was almost like when you guys are on the show together, it's like bookends, but I'm just playing.
It is. It's even worse. It's even worse when all three of us, me, RHETRI, and my brother are playing Fortnite because we're all bald, pasty white guys. It looks like we're going in a trio looking for a quartet or something.
Go ahead, Dirt.
Man. Hey, Silent man, I'm noticing in your background. Are those old Xbox 360 faceplates?
You better believe it.
Yeah, that's fire, bro.
Is that an Ace Combat one?
No. So I've got the Forza. Sorry, I got to look at them a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
I can't see in the image too much, but I've got the Forza Motorsport. I've got the 0 hour one right next to it. Saints Row. I've got the original like launch day one.
Nice.
And then I've got Outfit, and then I forget what this other one is. I got it years ago, and I thought that like some kid had just colored on it because it came with like a couple others I had gotten. But it's actually a legitimate like licensed one. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
awesome,
know what
man.
that one's called.
I used to like those until they stopped. They stopped doing them. They stopped
They were
making them.
so much fun.
I
I remember
know
having
what?
a bunch of those around.
Now we know where PlayStation got the idea from.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
because I used to love those things.
I did.
Yeah.
I literally, because I remember the Ace Combat one. I literally bought.
I had a Gears one.
I
Gears
bought the flight stick because that was the only way you can get the plate
Really? Yeah, look at
with
that.
Ace Combat.
Oh,
Nice.
Ace Combat 6. I bought it for that because I wanted that
Yeah.
plate.
That was for that was man the 360. Oh, great console, man.
dude, I missed the customization. I will say that for sure.
I took my faceplate to a professional airbrush artist.
Oh, wow.
And it was pretty dope. I still got
That's
it here
sweet, man.
somewhere, and it had WebDave made it look like it was metallic, and he had to go in and painstakingly like all the different like little like the sensor and stuff, make sure he didn't paint over that when he painted and stuff, and then put the clear coat on it. And it's like I said, don't have the system anymore, but I still got that faceplate. So yeah,
it's fire,
that's cool.
man. Great time.
Okay.
Now they stopped making them when they changed the
When they changed the form factor,
like with the
the
slim or
slim.
something.
When they
like,
changed
yeah.
it to the slim, yeah.
yeah,
they moved
that
to
was
that one, and then all of a sudden the format wasn't right because it comes at like a sharper angle.
Yeah.
On both sides.
Mhm.
great stuff.
Rip.
I still have my Xbox 360. I have the R2D2 one.
Oh,
nice.
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 I was
Only-
playing to Connect, man, like not too long ago. I still got mine with it. I still have my 360. Well, I had the last version of the 360
Mhm.
that I got in 2013.
The Series E.
I went on eBay, got a Connect, and like 3 or 4 Connect
You're
games.
you're part of the problem.
Yeah.
Dude,
And we played
I'm
it Connect
the
for a minute, man. We played it like the first
I
couple
did
days
too.
I got it.
I did too.
I was literally playing Guitar Hero on my Xbox 360 upstairs yesterday. So
Nice.
I get it. It's a time that
Yeah,
I
it's a
will
time.
not forget. Those were good times.
Yep.
There you
Absolutely.
go.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so as far as where you can find me though, you can find me on Wednesdays at Xbox International at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with my brothers Crazy Louie and Sour Blow,
Crazy Lou.
and the Big Plume if he's not training folks for baseball. I think this week. I think we have him this week, but
Yeah, I
can't
think you
be
do.
sure.
Nice.
But yeah, and then just find me on TikTok, find me on Twitter, throwing out comments occasionally and just getting completely railroaded on some of them. But yeah, thanks again for hanging out this evening. It was fun.
No, awesome. And Tony, the host of the Big Plume, will actually be our guest on here next week, as well as somebody else I haven't
Good guy,
wrangled
man.
in yet. So
He's a good guy, bro.
he is. He is, and I've interviewed him as well. I love it. Continue to. I've got 75 interviews under my belt. So
Damn.
yeah, exactly. Keep on going. We'll love it. I love it. I love it. Guys, thanks everybody for being here, and thank you all for being here at the one and only Gamers Council.